So we're going to take a quick look at shooting with the Yamera app. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into exposure, and we've got a couple of options. We've got ISO and we've got shutter speed. And so what I'm going to try to do is, what I've got it set to right now is the lowest ISO setting it can go and the slowest shutter speed possible. And I'm trying to get this set up in a kind of a darkened corner of the room, right? So I turned off the light that I normally use while we're doing our class, like Zoom meetings and things. And so this is the darkest place I can get to kind of right now. But it's a little bit bright at 1 second. What we're going to try to see is, well, what exposure can we get and how slow shutter speeds can we get in that lower light situation. So I've got a 5-second timer, so I'm going to go over here. And I'm just going to kind of move my hands and try to keep my face still. And to review the pictures, we can click here. And if we look there, we can see, it's a little bit bright, but you can see the hands are moving. I'm staying relatively still. So let's keep going then. Back to camera up here at the top. All right, so that was my first exposure. And so that was at 1 second. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep that shutter speed low. And the ISO low. So let's go up one stop. So let's go like maybe 1.5-ish. There we go. It'll be close enough. Okay, and so then I'm gonna go ahead and hit go again. Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and move it down a little bit. So we're at 1.2, let's try to get to 3. There we go, close enough. Here we go. So that was 3. So the next shutter speed is going to be 6. There we go, close enough. All right, and I think our exposure is still looking okay. After this, what we're probably going to need to do is start to bring up the ISO as well. So let's go ahead and take a picture here. So let's review what we've got so far. So yeah, our exposure is starting to look much better, and here it's getting to about the right brightness. You can see I'm still staying sharp, but the hands are still moving. So let's see where we can go as far as trying to get some amount of stop action. So we'll go back to photos and back to camera. All right, so we were at, I think we were at 6, right? So the next one would be, we could go 15. 15 is close enough. But now it's probably starting to get a little bit dark, so let's go up 1 in ISO. So let's bring our ISO up to maybe like to 50-ish. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot there. So the next one, we're gonna bring the shutter speed up to 30. And we'll bring the ISO up to 100. Okay, here we go. All right, so that was at 30th of a second. So let's go up to a 60th of a second. And we'll bring our IS up to 200. And then let's see here. Doubling again, so 60, it's gonna bring us to 120. And just for easy math, we'll just go 100. And then ISO is gonna become 400. Okay, here we go. So then next up is going to be shutter speed of 200. And ISO is going to become 800. Okay. Next up, shutter speed is going to double. So it's going to go from 200 to 400. And ISO is going to go from 800 to 1600. And let's see if we can do one more. So we're at 400, double that will be 800. And then ISO is going to go from 16 to 32. Which is pretty much all the way up. Okay, last shot. Well, let's go. All right, so when we go and look at those, what we should progressively see is, that one was too bright. Movement, 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 right? We got lots of motion, but the hands are starting to become sharper. And now they're just the tips of the fingers are starting to show some, even here, just a little bit. But that one looks like I'm just holding my hands up. Same with that one, no movement at all, no movement at all. Now, when we look at those, we should also notice something else starts to happen with the exposure. So, perfect. So then what I want you guys to do is, think of another way that you can do something similar. It could be that you're twisting, jumping, moving. Maybe you got a slightly different room location where you can get back there further away from the windows, the blinds, and try to see what can happen, what you can do with some long exposures.